In this video, I'm going to share with you how I managed to self-host n8n on my Oracle Cloud account. And we're going to use the free VM that you're being given by Oracle. And then we're going to host the actual n8n. And we're going to use a custom domain name to point to that n8n service. So without wasting time, let's dive into it. I have created a blog that has all the instructions on how to install n8n. Yeah, and I'll put the link of this blog in the description. So the first thing we need to do is to go into our Oracle account. And if you don't have one, I faced a problem of creating an account. So I contacted the support team and they made sure that my account was successfully created. So if you face any issue creating an account with Oracle, just go to the support team and text them. They will respond to you with the actual solution. So in my account, I'll just go to this sidebar and go to compute and then instances. Now inside the instances, you need to just create a new instance. So in my case, I'll just name it as n8n instance. Yeah, that's the name that I'll use. And then under the images, I'll change it to use Ubuntu. And then I'll use 22.04. This is the one, is the standard one that is being used, but you can also use the latest one. Or let's just use the latest one. Yeah, let's use the latest one. And then select the image. So the next thing, under the shapes, here is where you need to make sure that you select the right one. By default, you'll be given the always free tier. And for you to have access to this free tier, you have a maximum of creating these instances of these specs. You have a maximum of 2 only. If you go past 2, you'll be charged. So I'll just stick with the default configurations, and then I'll just continue to the next step. Yeah, press next. And in this page, I'll just select virtual cloud network. I created a new one, but the default one is okay. So I've just selected the default one, and then under the subnets, I'll select the default one too. So I'll just go down. So this part for SSH keys, add SSH keys. You can use your custom ones, but I'll just use the ones that have been given by Oracle Cloud. So I'll just download them. I'll download the private and the public key. Yeah, download the 2 of them, and then I'll just create a directory for them. Since I have a lot of private keys, so I'll just go to my downloads. I'll just copy them. Copy that. Actually, I'll just cut them. Then go to documents. I have my SSH keys here. I started creating these instances, so let me just confirm the name of the instance that I've created, just to be sure. Basic information, n8n instance. So I'll just use this. I'll just delete the ones that I had created earlier, and then paste the new ones. So what we are going to do next is to press next. Yeah, press next. Under the security, there's nothing you need to change. Yeah. Oh, we are back to that page, so there's no problem. Just continue. Next. And now we just create the instance. Let's wait for it to be set up. Yeah, now we have successfully created the virtual machine. So the next thing you need to do is to just SSH into that server. I have a tool that I like using. It's called Terminus. The advantage of using this tool, they have a mobile app and desktop application that you can access, and it helps you to access more than one server in one dashboard. So here I have several servers that I'm controlling using this one tool. So you can just check it out, and also you can access your mobile phone. You can access these servers using your mobile phone. So I'll just add a new host. Well, I created this one earlier, so I'll just delete this and then recreate it. So I'll just create a new host, and we'll be asked the IP address of that server. So let's just go to that server's details, and you'll be given the actual credentials. So we have the public IP address, which is 129. I'll just copy that and then go and paste it under the address. Label, I'll name it the same name as the instance. So it was n8n instance. And if we go to the credentials, the username will be given. It is Ubuntu. So I'll just use this. Just paste it here. And we want to use a password. We are going to use a key. So I'll just select key. And I think I should just give it a name, n8n2. Yeah, since I already created it earlier, so I'll just create a new one. And I'll just import the keys that I just downloaded. So I'll just go to the documents directory, SSH keys, and go to n8n instance. So I'll use the private key and then save. So after that, well, we just connect. That's all you need to do. And then add to continue. And then the first thing we need to do is to update and upgrade. Well, I'm not going to upgrade since it takes a lot of time and I don't want this video to be long. So I'll just run sudo apt update. Yeah. Well, now you need to run the sudo apt upgrade, but I won't run it right now since it takes a lot of time to upgrade. So I'll just skip that part and go to the installation of n8n. So I'll just go to my blog where we have all the instructions. So the first thing you need to do is to install Docker, and here install it and then enable it to run in the background. So here is the code. I'll just copy this and I'll paste it on the terminal, then press enter. We have just finished installing Docker, and we are running the service too. So our next step is installing n8n, and the whole command for doing that is this. So what we are going to change in this link, we are going to change the domain name. We are going to replace it with the actual domain name that we want to access it. And I already have a domain that I'll point it here, and I'm going to use Cloudflare for that setup. And I'll just copy this code and then go back to VM terminal, just paste this code, and then we need to make some adjustments on this part for domain, your domain name. I'll just delete this and then type the actual domain that I want to use, which will be n8n.deltacosmetics.com. So this is just a domain name that is free in my list of domains, so I've just decided to use it for the tutorial. It will be n8n.deltacosmetics.com. Yeah, that's all you need to do, and I'll just press enter. So this will take some time since the actual images are big, and I'll be back when it has completed downloading and setting up everything. We have just finished installing n8n. So the next thing we need to do is to set up how we are going to access it publicly. So the first thing we need to do is to have our domain name set up with Cloudflare. So in my case, I'll just share with you where I have my domain name, and I like using Namecheap since they have good offers. So I'll just log in and show you the actual domain name that I'm going to use. Yeah, if I go to my domain list, you can see the actual domain name that I'm going to use is Delta Cosmetics. So this is the one that I'm going to use in this tutorial. I have changed the name servers that are being used to the ones from Cloudflare. So you need to change yours to use Cloudflare and add this domain name in your Cloudflare account. So if I go to my Cloudflare account, you will see I have it already there. So if it's your first time to set it up, it will take some time for it to propagate to sync with Cloudflare. So it will take a few minutes or hours, it depends, for it to propagate, and then everything you'll be able to control your domain name using Cloudflare. So in my case, I already did that, and I have the domain name added, and you can see in the list I have deltacosmetics.com. So if I go to this section for configure DNS, the actual DNS that I'm going to use, we used n8n.deltacosmetics.com. So I already added it here. Well, let me just delete it so that I can do it afresh. So I'll just delete it. So now we are ready to go. So there's nothing else you need to do in this page for Cloudflare. The only thing you need to do now, you need to go to my GitHub repository that I created for this setup, for this configuration, and I'll leave the link of the GitHub repository in the description. So if I go to GitHub, I'll have it. Let me just search it here. Yeah, this is the repository that we're going to use to set up Cloudflared, which is a tunnel manager with Cloudflare. So I'll just demonstrate to you. You see how it works. So I'll just copy the first command. This is the one that is used to clone the repository to your server. So if I go back to my server, I'll just paste it. Let me just clear what is being displayed. Yeah. Okay, let me just not clear. We'll need some credentials from this page. So after cloning the repository, I made it to be public, so you'll just access it easily. So after cloning the repository, if we just list what is inside this directory, you can see we have a bash script. So what you're going to do is just run it. Make sure you don't run it as root. Yeah, that is the disclaimer there. You need to run it just plain the way it is. So I'll just type / and then the name of the Cloudflare Tunnel manager.sh, and then I'll press enter. Okay, before even we do that, we need to make sure that we have Nano installed. In our case, I'm pretty sure Nano is installed. So we just need to make sure that Nano is installed so that you can use it to edit some files. So I'll just go back to that command. It will be /cloudtunnelmanager.sh. And then the first thing we need to do is to install Cloudflared, which I'll just press option 1. Yeah, so that will install Cloudflared. The second thing we are going to do is to authenticate with our Cloudflare account. We are going to authenticate this Cloudflare that has been installed in our server with our Cloudflare account so that they can communicate. So that is option 2. I'll just press option 2. And then you'll be given a link to use. So this is the link that you need to copy and then go to your browser where you had Cloudflared logged in. So I'll just go and open a new tab and then paste that link that you've been given. and here you'll be given a list of all the domains that you added in your Cloudflare account. So here I have what we are going to use. We are going to use the Delta Cosmetics. We are going to use the Delta Cosmetics. So I'll just click it and then authorize. Yeah, click authorize. Yep. Well, now we have been told it was successful, and if we go back to our terminal, you can see you have successfully logged in. So everything has been configured successfully. So our next step is step 3, which is create a new tunnel. In my case, I have several tunnels, but in your case, you won't have any tunnel created. So if you go to this list of tunnels, so let me just delete the tunnels that I created so that I have the same page as yours. So I'm going to delete tunnel number 5. Yeah, this script is responsive, can delete a tunnel just directly here. You don't have to do anything inside the Cloudflare account. So we'll just do everything with this script that I created. And then let me just delete another one. Okay, I'm going to use the same tunnel. So in your case, you're going to start from this page on option 3. You're going to start from this step. So if you go to option 3, we are going to create a new tunnel. So I'll just select option 3, and then you'll be asked to name the tunnel. You need to write the name of the tunnel that you want to create. So I'll just use n8n tunnel. But this name can be any name. You can just use any name. So I'll just press enter. And then after creating the tunnel, now we need to edit the configuration file of that tunnel. So by default, when you create a new tunnel, it will create a configuration file that you'll use to make the configurations with the services that you want to be accessed using the tunnel. So I'll just select option 4 to edit the tunnel configuration file. So option 4, and then you'll be asked to select the tunnel that you want to use. So I'll just use tunnel. The tunnel that we created is n8 dash tunnel. So that is option 5. I'll just select it. And by default, it has some examples. But in our case, we are going to use n8n.deltacosmetics.com. And then for the port that we're going to use in our n8n configuration, we are going, it uses, let me just show you inside the notes. It uses port 5678. So we need to change our port here to be 60, well, just forgotten. 5678. So this is the port that n8n is running on inside our server. So we need just to make sure that we add it here. So we are mapping this port to our domain name. So if I just go to this next lines, since we are just accessing one service, I just need to comment the next line and then press Ctrl X and then Y. Yeah, so we just finished configuring the tunnel. Now what we need to do is to create the subdomain. We need to route a subdomain to that tunnel. Yeah, so the next option is option 5. Yeah, option 5, and we're going to select the tunnel that we want to use. That is option 5 too. And then we need to add the domain name. So the domain name that we're going to add in this section, it will be added in our DNS records in Cloudflare. You don't have to go and create them manually inside Cloudflare. It will be created directly using this script. So I'll just write the name of the domain that I want to use. In our case, it was n8n.deltacosmetics. deltacosmetics.com. So this is our domain name that we're going to use, deltacosmetics.com. Yeah, press enter. If you have more than one you want to use, you just set it up here. But in my case, it is just one. So if you want to quit this page, you just write done. Yeah. So we have just finished setting up everything. The only thing that is remaining now is to run the tunnel. You can either run it manually, but in our case we are running it inside a server. We are not supposed to run it manually. It should auto start. It should run by default on itself without any human interaction. So we're going to use option 7. This will enable auto start, which is option 7 here. Yeah, and then I'm going to select the actual tunnel that I want to auto start, which is tunnel option 5, and then I select enable auto start, which is option 1. Yeah, so we have just finished setting up everythn, so we just need to go to our browser and try to access that subdomain that we just created, which was n8n.deltacosmetics.com. If I just click enter, you can see now we have been taken to the page of setting up our n8n account, which I'll just use my email address, which is, or let me just use my second email address for this setup so that I don't conflict with my other n8n account. So I'll just use Ong'udi done, and that will be, let me just use this 100. First name is Dan, last name Okech. Password will be, well, let me just use an example. Yeah, and then press next. Well, I didn't add my first name. Okay. Yeah, and that's all you need to do. I'll just skip. Yeah, if it's your first time to create this account, you'll be asked to have a license, the free license forever. Actually, it is, you are not going to pay for the license, but it is supposed to be sent to your email. So this is my email address that I want it to be sent to. So I'll just click send a free license key, and it will be sent to my email. So let me just go to my email and get it there. I'll just switch my account, and that will be 100. And you can see I have been sent an email here, an email with the license. So I won't share the actual license, but in your case you'll have your own license. So I'll just copy the license. I'll just copy it, and then I'll go back to my n8n account, and you'll be told to go to this link. So I'll just click this button here, this link, and I'll just enter the activation key and then activate it. Well, I think there's a problem. Let me just try to copy it again. Actually, what you need to do is just go to that email and click the activate license key. Everything will be done for you. So there's no need of going the long way. So I've just finished setting up everything. So let me just close this page. Yeah, we are being told that the account is registered. So you can, this is the whole setup that you need to do. Now our n8n account is complete, and we already activated it. So you don't have to worry about anything here. Yep, you don't have to worry about anything. So this is how you install n8n on Oracle Cloud using the free tier. And you can see we also have SSL certificate provided by Cloudflare. And this one also, it is free. You will never pay for the SSL certificate. And that's all you need to do. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.